iRacing has just released their Ferrari 296 Challenge car. It is the new Ferrari Challenge car for Class D, and I think it's a really, really good beginner motor vehicle. It's got a heap of horsepower and a bunch of electronics to make it a little bit easier to drive for newer drivers. I've done a bunch of laps in it, and I'll be giving a quick guide to the car as well as the first week of racing, which will be at Red Bull Ring this week, so you can go out and win some races for yourself. Let's do it. So today I'll be going through the brand new Class D car, the Ferrari 296 Challenge. Before I get into driving the car and giving some tips for this first week's combo, I need to talk quickly about how difficult it is to drive this car in real life. This is basically the most expensive entry-level series I've ever seen, so let's quickly get into that. Firstly, if you want to race Ferrari Challenge in real life, you need to own a Ferrari. And you probably need to buy it through your local dealership. So you can go to your local dealership. I did some research. It costs $292,000 US for a Ferrari Roma, which is your entry-level car, probably the cheapest Ferrari that you can buy new. You will also need to do a bunch of coaching before you can race this. It looks like it needs around about 3 days of coaching run by Ferrari itself. It costs about $20,000 US each day, so that's another 60 grand. Then you need to buy the Ferrari Challenge car itself, which costs $450,000 US, and then you need to spend, let's be nice and say it's going to cost you another $400,000 to race it for the year with entry fees, tires, you've got to pay your team to run it, all of the consumables, everything there. Only Ferrari dealers can submit an entry to Ferrari Challenge. So you need to own a Ferrari, you need to submit an entry through your Ferrari dealership, and all up, racing this series costs you about $1.3 million US for the year. Just as a quick comparison, I found a 2012 Radical SR3 that you can buy for around $30,000 US, and you could probably run that for the whole year at a cost of another $30,000, which is a little bit cheaper. Or maybe you could race this Porsche Cayman GT4, which I found for $100K US, which you could run in GT4 Australia for a full season entry of $20K, and you'd probably spend like another $50K to run it. But basically, there are many other ways to go racing for a lot less money. This is a really expensive series, and it's almost cheaper to go race F3 or something. That was a big rant, but let's get into the sim racing car. So yeah, very few people get to drive this, but we get to, and it costs $12 for us, which is quite nice. And it's an interesting motor vehicle. For starters, this car looks like a GT3 car, and it drives very similarly to the Ferrari 296 GT3, but it has some key differences. The electronics are very similar. You have both ABS and traction control that will be helping you out, and it does have the same kind of V6 twin-turbo 3-litre engine. It does, I think, have around 200 more horsepower from what I've read, so it's way faster in a straight line than a GT3 car, and because of this, you're going to have to brake a lot earlier to compensate for that. Now, because this is a Ferrari and I wanted to do some quick science, I took this car to Monza no chicane, and it almost made 300 kilometers an hour before getting to Curva Grande, which is really, really fast. I had then simply the largest crash ever, so that proves that the damage model works as well. Now this car is going to be raced in Class D in Ferrari Challenge, and I think it is a really good car for drivers of that skill level. It's for those drivers that are straight out of rookies, but they would still like traction control and ABS to help them out. It's not as crazy as a GT3 car, but I think it's a good stepping stone for those that want to go faster. One thing that I do need to acknowledge is that by replacing the GT3 car in Class D, iRacing does take away one of the most economical ways to climb licenses in iRacing. You previously could buy the Ferrari GT3 car and race it in Class D, and then you could race it in Class B and A. You cannot do that anymore, so there's no kind of really cheap way to go through licenses, which is kind of annoying for a lot of people, and it is another car that you're going to have to buy if you do want to go race Class D. I just need to acknowledge that as well. It's a little annoying, but I think it's a good car to drive, so it makes up for it. So as before, I said it's got heaps of horsepower and it's really, really fast in a straight line. Because of this, it can kind of mask any issues that you have getting out of corners. You can just apply more right foot And I know it has a turbo, but there's no replacement for displacement, as they say. And because you're killing it in a straight line, you'll need to get on the brakes a lot earlier than what you do in, say, a GT3 car, as you're going way, way faster. This car has way less aero grip as well, so your mid-corner speed is also down. Because of this, you're on the brakes for a really, really long time, and I find the braking zones are really kind of extended, and I think this is a good thing for newer drivers. Longer braking zones kind of gives more opportunity to make moves on other drivers under brakes, and more opportunity for you to flex your skill on the left pedal. This car has a heap of electronics, and they're all really, really good. As I said before, the traction control kind of kicks in a kind of not super invasive way, I found. The ABS is also really good. You can get on it, like get into the ABS when you're in a straight line. You will want to get out of the ABS when you're getting into the corner. I will talk about it a little bit more when I drive it at Red Bull Ring in just a sec, but basically this car I find struggles to turn. Getting the nose into the apex is really tricky, and the trail brake I've found has been super effective at getting the car to rotate and to get the nose in. So yeah, trail brake is very effective. I'll also really quickly talk about the setup. For starters, you do have launch control in this car, so if you want to get a really good standing start, just hold the brake and the throttle, and then release the brake to get a good start. Ferrari Challenge runs a rolling start though, so you don't even need to use this. With the actual setup, you can technically change your electronics, your ride heights, your roll bars, but Ferrari Challenge is of course a fixed series, which means you won't be changing anything. The only thing that you can change is the dash settings. You got 4 dash settings. There's like race, qual, coach, and tires. The best one is tires, as this will show you the tire pressures, and it also has the predictive lap time there as well, so it's like the best of both worlds. There's not even an option to change the brake bias, which is tied into the ABS system as well. So with that, the first week of driving is at Red Bull Ring. I did 2 really quick laps to see how the car would feel and to give some tips for how I think you should drive it to go really fast. Welcome to Red Bull Ring. I'm in the brand new Ferrari Challenge Group D car, and I am about 3 laps into a stint because the first lap in this car, there's no tyre temp and it's very easy to crash. So we've got a bit of tyre temp in, and I'm going to show you a lap, and then I'm going to do another lap and show you a bit more of the techniques I'm doing. So turn 1, I'm braking at like the 125, I think. Probably a tiny bit wide on the apex there, but otherwise fine. The one thing you'll notice with this car is it's got heaps of horsepower. So it is so fast up this second straight that we have to brake really early. I'm braking at like the 150. Very early on the brakes. And it's the same for this next hairpin as well. I'm braking really, really early. I think just after the 150 board. Maybe at the 150 board. Yeah, around about at it. So one of the things I'm struggling with this car is getting it to turn, and I'm sure a lot of people are struggling with that as well. The fixed setup that iRacing is running in this series is a little bit, oh my god. He's made it turn. Shout out to that driver. Yeah, there's a lot of understeer through this corner if you are off throttle and off brake. The fixed setup that iRacing has set is quite understeery, which is good for beginner drivers. But it means that one of the things you'll be doing is trying getting this thing into the apex. Got one more corner. Cool. So in this second lap, I'm just going to really focus on my braking, because I feel like trail braking is really, really important in this car. What I've noticed is that if you're, as I said before, if you're off throttle and you're off brake, you're kind of neutral, just rolling. This car is no turn. The aero feels really kind of non-existent. It's just got buttloads of understeer. Boatloads, probably more accurately. So the trick that you want to do, especially through this middle sector of this lap, is just trail the brake really, really far into each corner. And that will get the car to turn. I have found if I trail it too much, it will sometimes over-rotate, which shows that it's actually doing what you want it to do. There is gravel all over this racetrack as well, which is very fun. So yeah, this corner here, I'll show you if we trail the brake, it just makes the car rotate, even to the point of oversteer. And this next corner is the same thing as well. You almost get off the brake to like stop the rotation. So yeah, that's my one tip with this car is trail brake seems really, really important. And I think it's important in every car in iRacing, but this is a really dramatic illustration of that, I would say. Final bit. Cool. There we go. That's a lap of the Ferrari challenge car at Red Bull. Cool, so that's the Ferrari challenge car. I think it's a really fun beginner car and I hope you enjoy driving it. Are you going to be racing it this season? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you like it, if you're a bit bummed out you can't race a GT3 car in a Class D series anymore, let me know. Otherwise, if you liked the video, you can leave a like and you can also subscribe to Overtake for more sim racing videos. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.